Alright, today I'm going to give you some great tips for cutting feed costs when feeding chickens. Of course, you know, the easy way when you get started, you go to the big box store and you buy the laying pellets, right? Because that's what everybody does. Well, after a while that can get, it's not terribly expensive for the egg production that you get, but you can get a lot better egg production for a lot lower cost with happier, healthier chickens. And I'm going to give you several tips for doing that. When you're buying from a big box store, when they formulate their feed, they're trying to figure out what are the bare minimums that they can get away with, that your chickens will still live and still lay eggs, but it's not giving you the optimal ratios that you can get a greater production. And you can test this because, for example, when you're dealing with chickens, your primary focuses are going to be on protein, calcium, and a little bit on calories for energy and for body warmth. But mostly you're going to be looking at protein and calcium. But then you also want to get a good balance so that they can keep up their health with omega-3s, omega-6s, fatty acids, aminos, minerals, vitamins, and so forth. But the feeds don't really look to that too much. They're mostly focused on protein and calcium, and they're also focused on what is the minimal amount that they can get away with, because the protein really is like what is most expensive in the feed. For example, at an average big box store, a chicken laying pellet that has 14 to 16% protein is going to run you about $15. Well, if you move to a growing formula that has 20%, it's going to cost you about $20. Well, I can show you how to make your own feed that will give you a 30% for about $10. You can do it a lot better. It's going to be healthier. They're going to get more from it. They're going to get way more vitamins, way more nutrients, way more minerals, way more omegas and aminos. They're going to be healthier, they're going to be happier, they're going to eat less because they're getting more of what they need, and they're going to produce so many more eggs. They're going to be healthy. So I'll show you in a separate video how to mix your own feed, but for right now we're going to talk about the different things you can do to cut feed costs. Alright, the first tip to cutting your feed costs, if you're going to stay with already made pre-prepared feed, yeah, they want to be in the video. They're definitely working the sound effects angle there. But anyway, if you want to buy pre-prepared feed, then try locally. The big box stores are going to always be more expensive typically than your local co-ops. If you're in a rural area or can get to a rural area where you can buy direct from farmers, or you can go to grain mills, that's going to cut your costs way, way, way down. For example, like I said, big box stores, 14 to 16%, which is average for laying pellets, is going to be about $15 here. You can get it for $12 or $13 at a local co-op. And then of course you can get it even cheaper if you make it. But buying local is going to be your first tip to cutting those costs. Of course, if you grow it yourself, well, that cuts it way, way down. So if you have the room to grow, then that'll cut it down. Another option is fodder. I showed you in a different video on how to grow wheatgrass for juicing or fodder, but really that was for just a few animals or for human consumption or juicing. I'm going to show you in some upcoming videos different systems that are actually a lot easier to help you to grow a lot of wheatgrass, especially through the winter months, to supplement your feed. It's so cheap. It'll actually multiply your feed at least 5 times, so 100 pounds of wheat will actually turn into 500 pounds of food. And all you're doing is adding water. It's a really simple process. There's 2 different processes that I'm going to show you in upcoming videos. One would be how to plant a feed plot within your chicken yard, and another one will be using totes to grow a continual supply that you can throw to them. So growing your own feed is going to incredibly reduce the cost of feed, plus it will make them a lot healthier because they're getting fresh, natural, organic food, and you know what your food is eating, and then your food is producing food that you're eating, so you know it's all good, safe, and healthy. If you have the capability to allow for free range, this will dramatically cut your food costs, and it will produce a lot better egg quality because they're getting the variety that they know that they need. Their bodies are craving things, they're going out and finding it. You can always let them free range for a while during the day and then put them back, you know, in safety at night. My mom has some that just run around and they just lay eggs everywhere, and she just goes around and picks them up. They never go in. They roost in the trees. They're wild chickens. But for me, for example, when I'm cutting grass and I'm in the yard and I'm going to be able to watch them, I turn them loose and I let them come out and, you know, eat up the bugs that are getting chopped up and stirred up from cutting grass. So they get to free range some, and then when I know I'm not going to be out to watch them, I
put them back in the coop, which is very easy when you're feeding them by hand every day, because they'll just go wherever you throw feed. So just throw feed back in the yard, and they run back in the yard, close the door, no problem. Free range helps a lot. Another tip for cutting your feed costs would be to feed table scraps. Yes, chickens can eat table scraps. There's not a whole lot they can't eat. Chickens are kind of like almost one step above a buzzard. But they'll eat just about anything. There's a few things they shouldn't eat, but for the most part, they know what they shouldn't eat, and they just won't eat it. So any table scraps that you have, typically you can throw out, and they will eat that, and that will also help to supplement, and it's cutting down on your waste, because you're not wasting the stuff throwing it in the yard. You know, you could compost it or whatever, but you can feed it to the chickens and get it back a lot quicker in egg production. All right, your next tip is going to be store scraps. Now, a lot of stores won't allow you to take anything. They poison it, they mark it, they won't allow you to take anything off. But more local stores, mom and pops, will typically allow people to take the stuff that's already gone bad, produce and so forth, to feed to livestock. So if you check around with local stores, farmers markets, mom and pops, markets and so forth, they'll sometimes allow you to take stuff that has been expired. If you can find a manufacturer, for example, we have a bread manufacturer not too far from here in a city that's like 30 minutes away, 40 minutes away, and bread, of course, you know how they bring it to the store. It can only be on shelves for a short time, and then they have to pick it up, whatever they didn't sell, and they got to do something with that. So they bring it back to the manufacturer, and the manufacturers typically have what they call discount stores. Well, the discount store will sell bread that's like a day or two from expiration for like $1 a loaf, but they'll also sell breads that are on the date of expiration, when it says best sold by this date. Well, on that date, they'll throw bunches of it into a big trash bag and sell the whole trash bag for almost nothing. Like, I bought a trash bag that had 14 loaves of bread in it for $4. Well, that's, really good, because the bread was fine. There was nothing wrong with it. It was still soft. It was actually, the date on it was less expired than some bread that I bought off the shelf for the house, and I never even noticed until I checked the dates. But anyway, this bread you can then feed to your chickens as a supplement. Now, there's not enough nutrition in that to be their sole source, but it is a supplement, especially through the winter months when they need a little bit more body fat, because they need a certain body temperature to be able to produce eggs. So they need to have a little body fat through the winter, and these things will help to keep their calories up so that they can continue to produce well even in your winter months. So you can get bread products from bread companies. If you look around for different companies in your area, then you can also often find waste, what they consider waste food, that they're going to discard, and they'll either sell it to you at a huge discount. Actually, the bread companies, you can go with a truck and get it even cheaper, and they'll just load your truck down. Now, of course, I don't have enough chickens for that to be worth it, but somebody that is, for example, maybe a sheep farmer or a goat farmer, they could supplement a little bit like that through the winter if their flock is starting to lose weight and they need to put some quick calories on, because we all know bread puts the calories on you quick. So if you live anywhere near rivers or water, a good place to check is fish docks, because fish docks have a lot of waste that is high in protein and high in calcium. When they're cleaning the fish, they cut the heads, they scale them, they gut them and all of that. Well, all of that just gets thrown away. So you can go and talk to them and say, hey, I want you to save me a couple of fish heads for my chickens, and they will. They'll let you come get them, and it won't cost you anything. That'll actually be free, and that's high quality protein and calcium for the chickens. The only downside to that is that it will stink, and it can attract predators to your chicken yard. So if you do that, make sure you clean it up. I would only leave it out there for, an hour or two, whatever, a couple hours, so they can peck at it, eat what they want, and then take it out, get rid of it, give it to the dogs, bury it, or whatever. Another great tip for supplementing through fish docks and through fishermen is to check and see if there are any invasive species in your area. Most of the rivers in America now, especially the southern regions, like here, they are absolutely teeming with Asian carp. And these carp, they're very invasive, they're not native, they consume a lot of natural resources, and they're destroying habitat for native fish, and nobody eats it.
The meat actually is a very good meat, but it's very difficult to get because they're so full of bones. It's really hard to fillet it, and there's a layer of meat on the under the surface of the skin that's really strong and nasty that you got to get to. So most people will not fight with it, so they can't get any money for it, so they don't sell it hardly. But everybody wants to get rid of it. So a lot of times, like, you know, when you're in the river, like, they'll jump and knock you clean out the boat. They're actually very dangerous. So they're always trying to get rid of them, but nobody wants them. So these you can get super, super cheap from the docks for animal food or whatever. And if you talk to a fisherman, a lot of times they'll just give it to you. They'll save it because they catch them in their nets. They don't want to throw them back because they're destroying the habitat and the wildlife of the fish that they can get money for, but yet they can't really get any money for them at the dock. So a lot of times they just kill them and throw them back, and they're wasted. So if you tell them, hey, I have, you know, chickens, I have dogs, whatever, and I want to give some of this fish to them, a lot of times they'll just, you know, throw it on the side of the boat and keep it for you, and you can go pick it up from them for nothing. But even if you have to buy it, I think here last I checked it sells for about 50 cents a pound at the dock, so that's not bad for such a high quality protein. You know, you can just give them some maybe once or twice a month, and that will really help to build up their minerals and proteins and calcium and all that. It just gives their health, gives them a little boost. So those are my tips. Buy local, free range when you can. Feed table scraps. Try to find store scraps or bread companies or fish docks for things like that, for, you know, throwaway, what they call throwaway food, but it's still food, and the chickens will love it, and it'll still produce, you know, really a very healthy source of diet for them. And of course, growing fodder, growing your own feed, and mixing your own feed. Mixing your own feed is really a great, great option if you don't have access to these other things, which I'm going to show you how to do in the next coming video. I'm going to show you, and I'm going to give you all the details you need to know to learn how to properly mix your feed so that they get all of the nutrition that they need to produce lots of eggs and be very healthy and happy chickens.